Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to your reading today. So this is going to be quite a jump from the last reading last week. And this one is going to be focusing in on a message from your younger self. I was contemplating what does that really mean? And it really felt like the younger self from like a calm perspective, calmer points, whether that was resting, sleeping, being with people that you enjoy. This is the more peaceful energy style type of you from back in the day. You could take this as a inner child reading as well, because this is from your child self, right? However, what's popping up in my head is like literally between 0 and 6. It's interesting saying 0, but some of you had a lot to say when you were born. So you might have had some funny birth story or something like that. Or maybe not funny, right? Dangerous and scary, but you're still here. So it's coming through with that kind of vibe and energy. This is all going to be oracle cards. There's no tarot. It wasn't called to pick tarot. It was kind of like you can if you need to, but I was like, well, if I don't need to, then I won't pick it. Also listening to some more calm, chill 90s vibe music, so it's a lot of Savage Garden, Boyzone, Backstreet Boys. It's just a mix that popped up. All right, so let's pick your piles for today. Hope you're also doing really well this year. Really, we're almost halfway through it, and it's been eventful, right? We've all had. I don't think anyone could have like predicted what's going on this year, but it does feel like we're seeing a lot more than we normally would. And maybe all the stuff is normally going on, but we're starting to really peel back the layers of reality. Okay, so let's see. Okay, got these 3. So I'm going to put them down like this. Spread them out a bit. Okay, so pile number 1, you have got the Onyx card with seeing the future, responsibility, stamina, and self-mastery. For pile number 2, you have Pyrite with good change of fortune, success, renewed focus, and leadership. And for pile number 3, you have Shungite with protection from modern ills, grounding, everyday healing, and purifying. All right, so these are going to be the 3 piles. Pick whichever one calls to you. Tap into your intuition and see, what really draws your energy. And if that's multiple, then listen to multiple and take what messages resonate with you to help you with your life, right? Your life right now. So yeah, remember this is a message from a youthful aspect of yourself. And it feels really calm. It's coming from like the one who lived in the forest, right? Who like went out and had that calm kind of experience. So whether you did or didn't do anything like that, that's the vibe of where this is coming from. Okay, well, down description below is the timestamps, but other than that, I'll let you pick and I'll see you in your message. Hello, welcome, pile number 1. You've chosen the Onyx. Interesting crystals coming out, right? Very darker kind of crystals, not negative, but just like black, right? Onyx is dark. Shungite's quite a dark crystal. Even Pyrite, while it's shiny, has that like deep earthy tone. So these are very like grounded, base kind of like energies. This one has got seeing the future, which is kind of interesting because we're talking to a younger kind of like energetical self. Responsibility, stamina, and self-mastery. There was something that popped up when I first grabbed this card, and now I can't remember because I was shuffling the piles, so I didn't want to get too distracted. But it's almost like growing up fast, or there's an aspect of leaving a part of yourself behind, or like a innocence. There's something that's like that got left behind a little bit too early, or got rushed through, like life just rushed to wherever you are now. That's coming through with this message. So we'll let it unfold, of course, but that's going to be the vibe. Lots of cards here today because we're using all oracle cards. Okay, but I'll grab some cards and we'll have a look. These ones. But yeah, when I was doing this, when I was thinking of what kind of reading would come through, I was taking on a little bit of a journey in a meditation to this gigantic tree, something that's, you know how there's really big trees in the United States? This was like that kind of energy, like huge trees, and sitting at the bottom of the tree and kind of like energetically exchanging with it without speaking or communication or intention or desire. It was just this natural flow, and I felt that this was going to be the reading. That's where the calm energy is coming through. It's not coming through like a wounded child energy. This is coming from just like a pure source energy. But yeah, we'll see what comes through, of course. Okay. Oh, my eyes went kind of weird. There's always been this thing, I don't know if I've really told anybody really, but when I was younger, my eyes used to go brrr, like, and I used to look at them sometimes in a mirror and they were shaking, and I was like, is this some disease or something? But I could then stop it and also make my eyes shake, and so sometimes it naturally happens, but it's not often. It's like maybe like 3 or 4 times a year that I pick up on it. But anyway, I don't know. It just kind of happened there when I was grabbing some cards. We'll take these two. I'm just listening to the old music and I forgot that Ronan Keating was in Boyzone. Forgot about that. Okay, let's take a look at your message today. So part 1, well, you've got the baby, right? This is definitely a message from the youthful energy, and this one's tapping into the inner child. So it does feel like this one is going to be a message to reclaim something. It feels like, I know none of the cards are necessarily saying reclaim, but seeing the future, and then this responsibility type energy, it's like losing this kind of innocence. This does talk about inner child regal and joy, and sometimes this can be because it's a silver spoon. It's like that idea of being born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right? Which you could be like, that didn't happen. But it's not so much about saying, oh, you were rich and wealthy. This is saying that there is richness and wealth from an aspect of yourself that has been either forgotten, has come undone during life, right? Through difficulties and challenges, through good and highs and lows, through whatever experience you've experienced, pretty much through experience. And so the royal baby's coming out to remind you of this beautiful energy. It is more of an energy rather than a physical thing that promotes wealth. Like wealth in this sense is having, you know, it could be for some people having a big family. It could be, the wealth could be having, because like children aren't free, right? So you could technically see children as like not a wealthy thing to have. It's more of a burden financially. So that's why we're not talking about money. This is, or a physical thing. This is like being born with a beautiful mind or something like that. And I think at the start I said, some of you have a lot to say, like when you were born, right? So some of you had a lot of gifts when you came into this world. So it's touching on that, and the self-mastery is just making sure that you're not forgetting all of you, or judging any part of you, even if you've made choices that you regret or anything like that. This isn't about judgment or criticism. This is about reconnection. It's got restraint, playing within the rules. And again, we're talking about this adulthood with responsibilities, with like, I mean, there's a nice message with like stamina, right? Having good stamina is great, but when you have to learn, like, you know, if you're wanting to run a marathon, that's going to take a lot of stamina. But this restraint can also be restriction as well. Playing within the rules might get you to a certain way, but there's something else that can be now reconnected with. And so the younger you is reminding you of this through memories, through animals, insects, certain things flying past your window. It's just that joy and aliveness, right? The living, instead of the trying to gain or work up the tower, or like job with kind of being the sole purpose of life. It's like, no, this is you. This is reconnecting with real you. You've got lucky, slide safely into success. Really nice card here. It almost feels like no matter what, you're always going to be pushed and pulled and prodded into the right direction throughout life. You might take the hard road sometimes because you really want to experience something or do something differently, whether you're called to or not. But regardless, this is just reminding you, you know, instead of turning it into a desire to gain something outside of yourself, it's like reopen a new or an old part, like an old part of yourself in a new way, expressing it in a new way. You know, basically, it's just have some fun. You've got the Wise Woman of the Grove and Grace. This is very elegant. You know, this could even be, like, I did say it's not something external, but it could be getting something external, right? Something that you feel is like valuable to you or important to you, whether it's grabbing an old heirloom and recreating it into a different thing. You know how a lot of people used to have like necklaces from back in the day, and they used to break them up into brooches and rings and things like that. It could be something like that. I'm not saying destroy your heirlooms, but you know, it could be like even just grabbing it back out and wearing it. You know, that's what it's there for. It's not there for to just sit and collect dust. It's like, go get those things that help you feel connected to ancestry, connected to the real part of yourself. They're not really the thing that does it for you. You do that, but they can help. They can help, like, remind you, right, of it. Because anyone can be given a frying pan, but really the skill comes from within to be able to cook with it. You know, and sometimes some people have dumb luck and it just works out anyway. They don't burn the kitchen down. You've got dragon with power. It's interesting with these, like, dragons can sometimes come through with like supernatural abilities, right? And also hoarding abilities, right? Holding on to the thing that they don't want. So they don't want to wear this because that might break, or this might happen, or that might happen. This isn't about just kind of like letting all the what ifs go and just being and remembering who you are. There's a lot of good energy here. The luck card, the baby card, the dragon card's a lot of energy and power within you, and it does not need to dissipate into the past, or it doesn't need to be channeled all the way into making a billionaire more money, right? Or something like that, or like a boss more clout. I don't know, whatever. This is about just being, basically being, having fun, enjoying what you've accomplished, enjoying what you've gained, and utilizing that to reconnect with this aspect of yourself. You're more being invited, not told what to do from this younger. It's like you're being invited to reconnect with me, is like how it comes through. You are safe and protected with the wolf card. This is a great card to remind you. You could probably take some risks. You could probably take a little bit of risks in some way. I don't know if that's like you know, whatever feels right to you, if that's going to, I don't know, a fair, or what do you call them? I don't know. What do they have over here in Australia? Like Movie World, we're in Wild World, right? And just having some fun. Just like, it doesn't have to be too crazy. It can be stuff that some people do all the time, but for you, it's a big deal, right? So it's got to be what's right to you. But you are safe and protected just reminds you that there's really no risk. It's just, will you allow yourself to unleash? Big changes are happening, fly free, little butterfly. Yeah, this is reminding you that just because the butterfly has transformed and changed, it doesn't forget what the life was like as a caterpillar, right? It had to go through that transformation to be here, which means it can cover more ground. But it has its own difficulties and challenges in its new form, right? So this is just a reminder. I feel like this is more of a reminder. You don't have to revert back to childhood. That's not what it's saying, or go back through anything dark, shadowy, or challenging. This is just a reminder. Someone doing something in our garden. I'll try not to get distracted. All right, you've also got the dog with forgiveness. That's an interesting one. What are these? Are these like bassets? I'm not really really good with like remembering what dogs cover. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted. There's a person outside. I think they're looking at the water meter or something. Or they're doing surveying. No idea. Anywho. Dog with forgiveness. This could be just a reminder to let go of some of the past. You've got also another canine type creature, right? One has evolved in a more wild way. One has been kind of transformed into a more domesticated breed, but they all have like a very close evolution-wise ancestor. And you got the unicorn, miracles, getting that magic. Look at down here though. Like up here has like restraints, responsibilities, sometimes having to be something or perform a particular role, worrying about like, will I be doing this right, that kind of thing, still worries about life, right? And then down here you have the beauty of the underlying inner world. You've got the inner child, you've got the being able to do anything and still be successful. This really mixes well with this card. You're safe and protected. Slide safely into success. Safe, it's like you're fine, you're good. You've got a huge amount of internal power, and you might be running at like 20%. And for this world, everyone might think, wow, you're amazing, like you can do all this stuff. But there's like more to unleash, and it's not more of productivity. It's not a quantifiable thing. It's more of a you, the true you, being more free to be yourself. And that's coming through with the miracles. Really nice card. A lot of magic in the unicorns. It's the only card I think in this deck that's mythical. No, I think there's like one or two maybe. But anyway, there's not many. Most of them are what we could go and travel the world and see if we were lucky, right? Because you know, some of them might have already become extinct. I'm not too sure. But anyway, without that gloomy last little message, here is your reading. This is a message from the younger self. The younger self is really just inviting you to reconnect when you feel free and ready and comfortable with this part of you, because they, which is you, can enrich your life, that whatever you're experiencing at this time, by dragging you out of the 3D kind of life. You'll still be there, but having a more balanced and enriched experience. And that is what they want for you. It's interesting because the song playing now is from Lone Star. It's called Amazed. I don't know if some of you probably weren't even born, depending how old you are now, but like this was, I think, from the 90s. Anyway, there is this like reverence for how you've worked and got to where you are. There's no judgment or criticism from this younger self. This is just a like good time for them to tap into you and reconnect with you. So if you feel like you're being drawn to go play games or mini pad or something like that, or anything, right? Or even go on a big trip somewhere fun, that's what they're just coming through with. It's just like a, hey, this is a good time for that. There's no criticism, there's zero judgment of any of the choices you've made. It's all very loving. Like it's like what you would call true unconditional love. Not unconditional, but then there's these slight conditions. This is true unconditional love. Lots of distractions outside today. Now they're on the phone talking to, I guess, their boss about water or something. So it's kind of funny with all these distractions. I don't know what that's kind of tapping into. I mean, we're looking at water surveying. You know, we could talk about remapping, something like that, or even just the distractions of like the 3D world, right? When I'm trying to do a reading, there's like someone out my window. Very funny. I kind of like that, especially in this reading, because our 3D world is very distracting and we can hear these messages, feel good about it, and then kind of leave it by the wayside and go back to our normal. And that's okay. You know, this is just an invitation for you. So I'm going to leave that there anyway. If you have any messages, feel free to comment. This is a very short, quick reading, but I hope this helps. This is a really beautiful message. I really hope you like sit in this and soak it in, let's just say. Maybe even do a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation where you go out to like a lake or you envision a seaside or somewhere where you feel comfortable, where it's just you and nature, right? The elements in the 3D or even in meditation. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 2. You've chosen the Pyrite card with good change of fortune, success, renewed focus, and leadership. Interesting energy coming through with this one. It feels like out of all of them, this is the more vibrant kind of crystal, right? The other two are very dark crystals. And I mean that in a physical looking sense, not in a negative sense. Even though this is also very dim, dark, and grounded, it has that more flashes of vibrancy, also known as fool's gold. So there is that kind of like connection, right? I've never felt like the crystal was an imitation of anything. Pyrite's pyrite. I think other people's projections and hopes and dreams were maybe projected onto it, and it wasn't what they thought. But still, it is a really, really interesting crystal. So I haven't got too much to come through yet, but this does feel like more of a power move type energy coming through. So we'll see what comes through in the cards. It could be remembering power from your younger self, but this does feel like the one who led the games, right? The one who was the leader of the pack, or at least led themselves, even if you're more of like a loner. There's like this leadership energy coming through. Also got some distracting people outside. Someone's come to survey the land, I think, or I don't know what they're doing really. So it's a quiet little street that I live on, so anything other than maybe some children cycling around after school, you don't really hear much. Kind of funny watching some of the old clips on YouTube of some of the old 90s songs. One of them now is I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. Nice song, like it is a nice song, but it's just, I don't know. I haven't heard it in so long. There is that energy of nostalgia coming through. Okay, let's see what your message is today, pile number 2. You've chosen, well, you've got the Chaos Seeker and Mask, Turmoil, Crossroads, and Fears. It's like this powerful energy that was you has been squashed or something. You know, when you go to school and then you feel really confident and then people start criticizing or judging, and then slowly over time you start to believe it, and then you become one of the poppies. There's no tall poppy, or the one that stands out, the one who reaches out. It's a very Australian thing to cut the head off someone who is standing out, right? From what I've been told. I don't feel that's super true now, but maybe it is. I'm not constantly, you know, refreshed with like what's happening in the youth or like growing up. But there's something like that, which is like, this is keeping you small when you don't have to be, right? It's a mask that now is starting to crack. So you could be going through a transition of some sort from who you were to who you are, but who you are is more connected to who you like a long time ago were. So it's kind of like you're reintegrating this inner child or this youthful energy, and it's coming through in a very modern way of like being more decisive, assertive. That kind of energy is coming through. If you don't feel like that, then this is going to tell you the story. So I'm going to grab some more cards. You've got Recess, Rest, and Rediscover. Yes, this Rediscover energy. Tukas is an interesting one too, this little character here, because he fears, like with the fear card, he fears telling the people that he cares for or that he loves that he wants to do something different because he doesn't want to be a part of the group anymore. And not in the sense of like the group's bad, but it's kind of like, you know, when you leave a good job for something that you're more connected with, right? So anything, you could think of anything. Example could be like going from being a lawyer to, I don't know, being a gardener. And people might think that's crazy, but you tell them or even your partner or children or something like that this is really important. So it's like taking that leap of faith. And so this Rest and Rediscover is like a reconnection opportunity, and he's thinking about what he's going to do and how he's going to say it. But it's really important to him, and ultimately, you know, spoiler alert, he does tell them, and they're super supportive because they know that they love him enough to know that like that's in his best interest to leave this group and go on his own journey and take his own path, and they're going to keep doing their own thing too. So there's like the fear isn't really it's not about judging it like it's like that was unwarranted because of the outcome. It's more of that power of standing up for yourself and making decisions that are right for you. Okay. Compassion, kindness, yeah, I love this. Fufto is a sweetheart character. This is the beauty within, right? That loving, caring compassion itself that gets sometimes a little squashed, because if you're loving, caring compassion, you're going to draw loving, caring compassion people, but you're also going to interact with a lot of people that aren't, because then you get to see the value of being you, right? By seeing a mirror of the opposite or a warped reality kind of version of you, which there is one in this little game that's been created, and he looks exactly like him, but he's purple. He's like a darker color, and he's more ruthless, right? So he's kind of seeing himself. So this is kind of like really recognizing where you're at. Have you shifted too far? Have you found, do you need to come back into a balance of like care for self or care for others, doing what you feel is right, making decisions, assertiveness, leadership? Because I feel like it's part of your path anyway, and now this is being reawakened. This standing up for yourself kind of energy. You've got the rabbit with ask for help. Kind of cute and interesting. He's kind of speaking to this monarch butterfly. Monarchs are usually like kings and rulers, right? So you could see that in a positive sense of someone who is not better or more royal, but who is experienced. Also who's transformed, because butterflies show change and transformation. So this could be getting advice, or maybe looking up what other people have done, how other people have talked to certain people in our lives, because I feel like something needs to come out or get off your chest. Surprise others with favors. That's really sweet. You know, generally this card is talking, I do love the daffodils too. Anyway, this card usually is the card of like, you don't have to wait for a specific day, right? You don't have to wait for Valentine's Day to be caring towards your partner. It's like showing appreciation will actually give you a lot of like strength in some way. You know, it might be a little bit off the topic, but I'm going to talk to it anyway. One study that I remember reading about, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a group of people, let's just say 150 were given $100 to spend on themselves. The other 50 were given $100 to give to someone, or like to buy something for someone else. You know, that kind of thing. And at the end of it, they surveyed kind of like all the people and see how they felt. And the people who gave away the money felt more fulfilled than the people who just bought what they wanted. You know, everyone's going to have different circumstances, but just as a general blanket situation type thing. And you know, that kind of shows that we forget sometimes about, one, being open to receive, because sometimes we don't want to ask for help, right? And here you're being kind of guided with the idea of a gift in some sort. And sometimes people really want to help us, but they're not going to step on our toes because maybe they've done it in the past where they've said, oh, I'm happy to help with this. And you're like, no, right? Or like, I can do this myself. That's not really where this message is coming from. It's more coming from being open to, I guess, what is it trying to say? Like open to helping others, but also being receptive to listening and hearing others. So it's not a like, I'm going to make this decision and everyone better get out of my way because now I've got the power to do it. It's more like, hey, I want to do this. How can I get there in the way that serves, or how do I communicate my desires and beliefs and what I want to the people that matter in this moment? So it's a lot of like rest and rediscover. It's really a lot of contemplating and thinking without getting stuck in the head of what ifs. This is just like, how do I take the first step? How do I take the next step? And start moving with those 2 steps, like thinking about the first 2 steps, not about all 5,000 steps. You've got the reflection pull with stillness. I talked about who you are. Like, are you a reflection of a wound or a desire, or like, are you truly being yourself in this moment? Because the mask is starting to crack. So anything that you have covered over yourself is starting to fall off, right? The mask is coming off, the disguise is coming off, the real you is coming through, and you're being given a huge amount of space and time to reconnect with this aspect of you. You've got the foggy bog with patience. Yeah, there's definitely no rush with this. This scene is before Tukas has even spoken to his group, right? His little unicyclist group. He doesn't want to do that anymore, but he's contemplating and thinking about it. And you'd be surprised that like gifts aren't always physical things. They are, you know, like I said with that example, going towards someone and just saying, I really want this, or this would be something that I desire or would really like. Can you help me gain this? Like sometimes people are waiting to be invited. If you've ever done human design, you might be aware of that. Also, just randomly, my internet has been cut off. Now I think I know what the person outside was doing. They might be part of the internet. So there we go. It's just funny, while I've been doing this reading, the internet's cut out. Luckily, I'm just recording from Streamlabs, and so it's not uploading live, right, or anything like that. But the interesting thing with that and saying that is, no, this might be detaching from what we are accustomed to or become accustomed to and reconnecting while all the stuff is off to what's important or what we used to connect with. What did you used to connect with before the internet, before we had phones, that kind of stuff? Who were you before that? Like, what aspects of you that you want to bring that back into this life? There's something there, but there's a lot of time and reflection here. These cards are slowest cards in this deck. The bog, because you don't have clarity on what you really want. There's no rushing into a particular direction just for the sake of moving out of the path that you're on. This is like, continue moving forward and contemplate what do you really want out of this existence? Who were you in the past that you want to reconnect with? What aspects do you miss about yourself? We can't reverse time, right? We can't go back to the 90s or the 80s or 70s or whatever. And generally, we probably wouldn't want to. If we did go back, we'd probably be like, oh, I've already done all this. Oh, I remember this. This wasn't, we kind of turned the past into some perfect world, and it really wasn't. And we only have forward anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, it's just interesting. Power's cut up. Dolphin play. Yes, fun. Invite some fun back into your life. Really cute with the dolphin coming through. Sometimes that talks about family. It can talk about pods, right? Dolphin pods, which is like groups of humans reconnecting with people that are maybe not even old, right? That you've had in the past. Maybe they're new people. It's just like reconnecting with like-minded people, even if then you're not really reconnecting with them in the one-on-one sense, just like group stuff, right? Being a part of a knit group, or like not a knitting, but maybe a knitting, but like a group of people, and just being in that energy can be really helpful as well. There's a lot of like, maybe it's this, that, or the other, but ultimately this is about slowing down, reconnecting with self, remembering what's important in this life, and making decisions that put you at like the forefront of this, a caring, loving kind of self. Okay, the internet just came back on, so we're back in business. You also have the manta ray, another aquatic animal or ocean-dwelling animal. And if you've ever seen manta rays, they're quite crazy. Like, they're crazy looking. You can see the design and how they've evolved to be these, big mouth kind of like machines that just suck up plankton, I'm assuming, and other small invertebrates as food. But it's just like, what an interesting creature, right? And this is talking about presence. Presence is being in the body, being connected with you, being you connected with you. And that's like period, right? That's it, like period. Might be breaking out of cycles, like the idea of routine. Some of the routines may need to be mixed up a little bit with some fun music, and to let go and just dance around the house. I don't know. This is really up to you, how you take this and what you do with it, because it's about taking off the mask, not listening to someone else talk about taking off the mask and putting a mask that they believe is right. That's why I'm not giving you suggestions and ideas in the way of you must do this. These are just like examples, and examples are to be looked at and decided upon rather than, oh, I have to do this, right? It's none of that. But this is a kind of like a really beautiful time for you to reconnect, refocus, come back to who you really are, because this is a good opportunity to transform you becoming the master or the leader of your life, right? Or of the work or group or whatever this is really touching on for you. Huge amount of time. Sit with it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Just sit with it and see what pops up. See how you feel. Maybe even remember some good times in the past and see how they feel. What do you feel about those? What do you want to reintegrate? Were you like super effervescent and laughing a lot and now you don't? How do you get back some of that? Not go backwards, but how do you reclaim some of that that fun in youth? Like what are the distractions that are pulling you aside, especially internet? Just because my internet dropped out, I'm really like, phones really do distract us. So are you looking at that for entertainment instead of maybe something a little bit more physical, right? Or active, outside, gardening, going to a park, I don't know, going to the movies, going to an event center or something and playing a sport. Whatever this is for you, it's really, really, really up to you. So with that, I think I will leave that, but a really nice message from your younger self. If I had to put it into a visual, I kind of wish I could just paint something really quickly, maybe AI art, but I don't know, people aren't really happy with that. So like the image that I'm getting, I guess like in our minds, it's kind of AI art. But anyway, is like a young child, like maybe like 6 or 7, kind of like using their imagination to create a world that they are playing in. So he's like, or she or whoever is like in a cape, right? Has a cape wrapped around their shoulders and is standing at the top of a mountain, kind of like acting like a superhero or something, which may seem super childish, right? But that's the fun of the world. It's creating joy and play in something that may be mundane. It's just a mountain or like a mound of dirt. But like that mound of dirt could be someone's, someone's castle. It could be a gardener's dirt for planting, creating new life, right? This is seeing things instead of just like, this is this and that is that, because that's what I was told, recreating it into what you want, transforming it into opportunity instead of, stagnation. So yeah, give yourself a lot of time though. This is not a rush job. This is just to sit, contemplate, probably forget about, and you'll see in time where it pops up in your life and what decisions to make. Don't go in it with fear or choose out of fear, choose with love. Okay, pile number 2. I hope that's really helped you. It's been an interesting reading, especially with all the distractions in your reading. But yeah, that's life, right? Huge amounts of distractions, but that doesn't mean they get to control us. We give our power away if we want to, not because someone forces it from us. So reclaim your power. All right, take care of yourself, pile 2. Look after each other, be kind, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 3. So lucky last, you've got Shungite, protection from modern ills, grounding, everyday healing, purifying. Remember, this is a reading from your younger self. The interesting thing that popped up straight away was like different from the other messages. This one was very specific in the sense of this is something that you've brought over from youth that you're holding on to for some reason. It's not something that's just like degraded away. It's more like something that's claimed and kept, which now, might be a time of releasing it or unleashing it or something like that. But it could be something that is old, and it's like, when you put something in your bag and you go to school and then you as a kid, you leave it in your bag and then you come back on Monday and you've left it in your bag and it's like food and it's gone rotten. It's like, this is something that needs to be thrown away, needs to be chucked out. So we'll have a look at what this is. It does kind of connect with the purifying, right? It's like clearing the space out. So we'll see what comes through in your message though. But it's like, do not harbor this or hold on to any kind of resentment if it's, well, it's not like if it's not needing, it's not needed. Whatever it is, it's not needed. Unless you really want to work on it and need to work through it, then absolutely. But if you don't need to, it's just something that's stuck or held in its place, then you don't need to hold on to it. Purifier. Okay. Let's grab some cards. This is all Oracle today. There is no tarot cards today. Guides were like, you can use them if you want to, but it's not necessary. And I'm like, well, if it's not necessary, then why bother? I'll grab another deck that is going to be helpful. And what better cards than all these cards for the child like self? My cards even included. I created them based off like memory of of things I was interested in as like a very early teen, maybe like 12, 13, you know, so around that kind of, those kind of years. Mythological creatures and characters of like role-playing games or even fantasy novels, right? That kind of thing. The whole time I've been doing this too, there's been someone outside doing some stuff with the internet, and it actually cut out last, not last stream, but last read. So it's been a lot of like little distractions too, which is interesting. But such is life, right? Life is full of distractions. If he's helping fix any internet issues, upgrade, then go for it. All right, Starchild and Fire Arrow, multi-dimensional vision and starseed. There's a clear message of remembering who you really are. You're not the sums of this life. You've gone through a lot of shitty stuff in this life. You've probably gone through like super easy stuff in the past lives, or maybe even worse stuff, right? This is not the straw that breaks the soul's back, because the soul is infinite and it can obtain and have everything, including the entire universe. So, and all time, all dimensions, everything. So this is just a reminder of connecting to who you truly are, not whatever you've experienced in this life. That stuff is to be experienced and worked through, and you know, whatever you decide in this life, but it doesn't have to be attached to you and hold on forever, especially because of like who you are and what benefits you brought into other people's lives, this soul included, your soul included, and maybe even here with this reading, with everyone getting this message, including myself, right? This is a shared space. I've got study, it's got investigate thoroughly. Yeah, if there's anything you're like, this doesn't resonate, you know, we hold on to a lot of stuff from the past that we deny that we're even holding on to. So I'm not saying, you know, you're lying or anything like that. But if it doesn't resonate straight away, just take a moment before you dismiss it. If it really doesn't, absolutely leave what doesn't, take what does, but just give it some time to let it settle in, because we hold on to things that we don't even know we're holding on to. I am one included in that. When I was like, maybe like 5 years ago, and then 2 years later, just like around 2022, all the stuff kind of unleashed, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was holding on to that. Yes, I remember that, or I actually forgot all about that. I didn't even realize that happened in the past. But yeah, this is something that I can release now. So you just give it some time. You never know. Focus one step at a time, absolutely. So you've got study and focus, which is like very careful, not careful as in scared of what's ahead, but just mindful steps, right? Mindful steps. There is no rush here. You've got the elephant with compassion. Being really kind to yourself is important here. The inner child or the younger self is like, try to be really kind to yourself. You know, maybe even get back in touch with like who you really are. What were you interested as a kid? You know, I was talking about my cards that I created, which were, you know, this depiction especially is very different to what I would have thought of as a kid. But that's the whole point. It changes and evolves, but that inner child energy can be still expressed in a positive sense. That past self doesn't have to revert to exactly how it was. It's evolved because we've evolved, right? We've evolved to where we are. This is like, what part of me do I need to be kinder to myself? Am I still holding on to anything? That's really important. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's just how it keeps coming through. Yeah, finding that inner strength. And it's interesting with compassion and strength, because we see strength, especially in this more, you know, masculine energy world, as strength as the person who stomps on this person or gets the thing, the prize or the job or whatever. That's the strength, right? They show strength, or the person who beat up the other person, which is a lot of like old barbaric kind of bullshit. But you know, such is life. But this is nice. What's the strength and compassion? not losing who you are to anger or violence. That's strength to me. Being able to hold one's own without being influenced by the shitty energy of the external. That's strength. And it takes a lot of time, especially if you're an empath, because you'll be pushed and pulled in all sorts of crazy directions. But strength is not about absorbing it and being able to hold it for other people. It's about not holding on to it. It's about recognizing what's yours, good boundaries, and either sending it back to where it needs to go or grounding it out, right? Grounding it out and refreshing yourself. Just like you would take a shower, you ground the energy away. There's a lot of stuff coming through with this reading for you, Pile 3. You also have the Crow, believe in magic. Yes, getting back to the magical self. You probably are magic. If you've come to this reading and you don't do anything like spiritual, and this was just a, here we go, we'll just see how this goes. You probably are a starseed. I'm just going to throw a whole lot of stuff at you and you can kind of like fry on the ground like an egg. But, you probably are a starseed. You probably had lives in other planets. This is not your first life. I doubt anyone getting any of my reads probably, it's unlikely this is their first life. If it is their first life, you should be going and doing the human thing. Should not be around here with old fuddy-duddy souls, right? You should be like, like a puppy running around playing. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean like that's going to be more fulfilling because you get to experience like the freshness of life rather than all this overthinking kind of like old energy. But anyway, that might have been a message to you as well about reconnecting with that youthful energy of self as it is from your younger self. And you've got the Coyote, learn from your mistakes. Yes, if you're holding on to something like grief, sadness, anger, fear, something like that, ask yourself why you're holding on to it without judgment and release it if need be, or process it as you see fit. This is really just about a choice rather than a directive, right? But give yourself time. Give yourself some time. It's not it's not slow. It's just like it's not stopping. I mean, it's not like stopping. It's just like being mindful one step at a time. So you're still moving forward, just at in a paced way rather than insane, bat out of hell type way, right? It's not like we're, you know what I mean. Water spirit manifesting your dreams. Yeah, you can really create something. This is kind of interesting. It's kind of stopping out of moving out of the main message, and it's like you used to be able to do this in the past. You've done this on different planets. You've been able to create what you wanted out of this world. The water spirit manifesting dreams right next to believe in magic, next to compassion. This is like, it could be quite amazing what you could do. And what you're doing now is amazing, right? Being here is a huge opportunity to fulfill goals and create new connections and live life, right? So no, just never forget that as how it's coming through. You've got the Guardians of the Land with protection, just a nice message to say that no matter what you do, even if it does feel like you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to deal with that, you're protected. Your guides are standing close. They're going to be there if you get too caught up in your own head or caught up in the 3D. They're going to push and pull you into a direction by guiding you in the direction that you actually planned, right? So if I made a plan and I get distracted and someone reminds me, hey, snap out of it, you wanted to do this, that's not them telling me I need to stop what I'm doing and do what they want me to do. This is they're reminding me that I wanted to do this thing that they're pointing towards. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, of course. And I just got distracted. That's okay. So that's why guides guide us. They don't control us, no matter what you might think. Okay, a lot of noise today outside, a lot of distractions. This is like the inner child kind of like, or the youthful self, having to deal with a huge amount of distractions. It's really hard for them to come through when these adults keep talking and don't listen, right? They just keep talking and talking and talking. I feel like there's some part of this reading has kind of like flipped something for you or has unlocked something for you or will in time, right? Remember, this message is really for your highest good. There's nothing in here to keep you stuck. This is actually the opposite. This is to help you become unstuck. And if you can see a path of how that looks and it feels scary and you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But if it feels right, then maybe just think about it, take some time, and then when you want to walk down that road, do so. You know, there's no rush. There's no rush. You're not being forced or pushed into a direction that you don't want. It's actually literally what you wanted to do in this life. So have a look at it, take some time, ground your energy, and then take some steps forward, because you'll be leaving behind not a part of yourself, but an old rotten sandwich that was left in the bag that is just not needed anymore. Okay, I think that's it for you, pile number 3. I hope this really helps. This is really a message to support you on your journey, and wherever you're off to at the moment feels really positive. You've come here with probably very defined missions, and this is just a reminder of some of those things that you wanted to do in this lifetime. Nothing that is out of the blue, out of pocket. This is what you wanted to do. So if any opportunities come up, have a look at them and see if they really resonate. And see if they're not resonating due to like actual resonance, intuition, or fear, right? It's like, oh, no, that scares me. I don't want to do that. Why does it scare you? Does it scare you because it doesn't feel right? Or does it scare you because it takes you out of your comfort zone? So yeah, time to start walking the path. All right, thank you so much for letting me read for you today, pile 3. I hope this has helped. Take care of yourself, be kind to each other, and I will see you next time.